spent the better part of the last 8 years sitting at my desk. Over these years, my desk setups have ranged from decent to doo-doo, but today, I'm building my dream desk for video editing and gaming. This video is sponsored by Flexispot, and I'll talk about them along the way. All right, so we're gonna start with something that's very much not sexy, but extremely important to my setup, and I think everybody should have this if you're a creative person or you have expensive items at your desk. So basically, I have this backup battery at the bottom of my desk legs. It has a ton of power ports on the back. One side is just to protect from surges. The other side is to protect from surges, but also to connect to that backup battery. So if your power does go completely down, this little battery will power your system for a little bit of time, give you time to shut things down or for the power to come back on. I have one cable that goes from the battery up to my desk setup, so I can move my desk from sit to stand, and that cable can kind of just move with my desk and keep everything powered. We'll get into cable management a little bit, but I didn't go extremely hardcore, like making this perfectly minimal. I just wanted to make it as functional as possible because I like to change things out on my desk here and there and experiment with new things. And if I have everything perfectly tied down, it makes it such a headache to change things. So that's my cable management style, I guess. Now let's talk about my new desk, which I'm really excited about. It's from Flexispot, obviously, and I'm stoked because it's extremely big, dude. It's 79 by 35 inches. I like to have space, but not fill all the space. It just makes my brain feel better for some reason. So I went with the big boy. It's the dark bamboo model of a desktop, and the desk itself is called the E7 Pro. So it's an electronic sit-stand desk. You can program it from sit to stand, so you can set your heights perfectly. And I have some heavy stuff on my desk, and these legs have absolutely no problem lifting and coming down with all the gear on my desk. So far it's been a really great experience having this thing, and yeah, I think if you want to look at sit-stand desk, check out Flexispot. I also got the C7 ergonomic chair from Flexispot, which has a movable headrest and armrests, self-adaptive back support, which is kind of magical, adjustable height, depth, tilt, and recline. We'll talk about this a bit more later on, but if you're tired of wrecking your back and you want an affordable Ergo chair, check the link in the description and use code C730 for a $30 discount. Thanks for supporting the video, Flexispot. Really appreciate it. All right, now let's start to talk about the things that are actually sitting on the desk, the things I use every single day, you know, gaming with the boys, video editing for these YouTube videos. For a while, I was using a blue leather mouse pad from Nordic. You've probably seen it in a lot of my thumbnails. My camera's always sitting on it. It looked really nice on my black desk, but it just didn't really fit the dark bamboo. So I got a super wide mouse pad. I needed to get a new one anyway because this desk setup is a dual computer setup. So I have 2 keyboards and 2 mice on top of my desk. So I got a massive mouse pad. Okay, now the keyboards that sit on the mouse pad. The keyboard I use for my Mac is just kind of the basic space gray keyboard from Apple. It has a fingerprint reader, so I can unlock my computer, and also Chrome works with the fingerprint reader as well to use passwords, which is very convenient. I don't have to constantly type my passwords in. And I just love the low profile, quiet keys. When I'm video editing, I don't want to be annoying my wife and brand new baby. So how about the keyboard for my other computer, my gaming PC? This is the Keychron K4. Now, the reason I have this second keyboard on my desk is for the gaming PC build that I have. I am practicing mouse and keys, playing a little bit of Halo, a little Call of Duty with the boys. It's a brand new concept to me because I've been a controller gamer my entire life. I'll show you what controllers I have here in a second because they're really cool, but let me break down the mice that I use. For video editing on my Mac, I have the Logitech MX Master. I feel like so many people use this mouse. It's insanely reliable. I've had it for years. The battery life's really, really good on this mouse, and overall, I plan on just keeping this mouse until it breaks, probably. But for the gaming setup, I have the Logitech G305 wireless mouse. I know some of my gamer friends have given me flack because it's a wireless mouse for gaming, but I'm not trying to be a professional Call of Duty player, even though I kind of go crazy with the Ram 7. But since I mentioned it, here are the controllers I use for gaming, and I get way too excited about this. Both of the controllers I use are from a company called Scuf. Scuf makes incredibly high quality controllers for gaming on consoles or PC. So what's unique about Scuf controllers, if you don't know, is you can fully customize the color, the faceplate, all of that stuff, even the buttons. And on the back of the controller are 4 paddles. The reason you want these paddles on the back is so that you never have to take your thumbs off the thumbstick, so you can always be aiming, shooting, jumping, while also crouching, using grenades, reloading, all that stuff. It just makes it way more efficient when playing shooter games, especially if you're playing competitively. But let's talk about the newer Scuf controller, which I'm extremely pumped about. This is called the Envision. So this is a PC only controller. So what's cool about the Envision is that you can fine tune the trigger response, the buttons, you can make custom macros so that the buttons on the front of the controller can do functions on your computer, like mute yourself in Discord, open up various programs, trigger different functions. The one thing I don't like about the Envision is that it's slightly too large. I wish it was slightly condensed, like 90% of what it is right now. All right, we're doing all this gaming talk, so we might as well break down, look how happy I am. We might as well break down my brand new gaming PC build. Good angle.
Our heads are cut a little.
Connor's here.
Hey.
All right, so we have the CPU here. I know a lot about PCs, dude. Went with the 4070 Ti Super B650 Plus Wi-Fi Asus motherboard. I am excited about this.
Yeah, dude. The NCXT, I have this, well, I have the white one.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
And then we have Biggie Gold power supply here.
4 TVs.
4 TVs, baby.
My biggest mistake was picking 1 TV.
It took an entire day and a booty ton of tutorials, but I actually got this PC to function with the help of my friend Connor, and I am so stoked that I made this decision. So far, dude, I freaking love this PC. The freaking Fractal case is absolutely gorgeous. It looks minimal and clean. It runs Halo and Call of Duty at 170 plus frames with really good graphics. I'm just so pumped about it, and I can't wait to show you how I have this thing integrated with my other computer because it's kind of sick. Speaking of that other computer, it is an M2 Mac Mini. So the Mac Mini is kind of my workhorse for all of my projects. So I do my video editing on this, my emails, it's all the stuff that you gotta do to run a business on the Mac. It's the base M2 Mac Mini, but I upgraded from 8 gigs of RAM to 16. Since I do video editing, I wanted to get that as high up as possible. Since the Mac Mini doesn't have a ton of ports and I have a crap ton of gear on my desk, I had to get a USB-C hub. I don't know if this one still exists on Amazon, so I'll leave a link to this and everything else I'm talking about below. And if there's not the exact same piece of gear on Amazon, I'll put something as similar as possible. The thing I like about this USB-C hub is that it has obviously a bunch of extra ports. It has some really fast USB-C ports, but it also has a micro SD and regular SD card reader built into it. I know I said this was a dual computer setup desk video, but it's actually kind of 3 computers. This NAS that I mentioned earlier is called the Synology 1621 Plus. This is a massive storage pool that I archive all of my footage to after I'm done editing a project, and then it automatically syncs up to a cloud. I will never lose footage or photos again, which is really important to me. So I've told you what computers I use, but in order to make those go worky work, you have to have monitors to see the stuff. Isn't that crazy? For my editing computer, the Mac Mini, I have the LG Ultrafine 27UN850. That's a long name, but basically it's just a UHD 4K monitor that has really good color accuracy. It's incredibly clear. It looks amazing when you're playing back your 4K, 6K footage, and even just doing basic emails and stuff. Like, this monitor just looks incredible and it's not too expensive at all. For the gaming PC, I invested in the Gigabyte M27Q. It's a 1440p monitor that does 170 hertz and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Like, I feel like it looks like a 4K monitor. It looks so good, and that's why I'm capping my PC at 170 frames for my games, because that's all this one can do, but it's like more than enough for me. It looks awesome. Holding the monitors up is the Huanuo. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's a Huanuo dual monitor stand. It can hold monitors from 17 to 27 inches. It holds a really good amount of weight and is very easily adjustable. You can also route your cables through the arms on the monitor mounts because they have their own little caps that kind of conceal the cables and make it look a lot cleaner. Okay, but now we're finally gonna talk about my absolute favorite little piece of gear on my desk setup. This is the thing that allows me to use my Mac and my gaming PC seamlessly together. It's called the Rode Streamer X. The Streamer X is an audio interface with incredible audio preamps. Like, you could use a Shure SM7B without any cloud lifter. You could just crank it and it's crystal clear. But it's also an insanely high quality video capture card. So I'm gonna break down how I use the Streamer X in my workflow because I think it's pretty unique and pretty fun. On the back of my PC, there is a DisplayPort out and HDMI output. So the DisplayPort goes to my gaming monitor, which gets me that super high quality, high refresh rate image. The HDMI output goes directly into the Streamer X. Now, why would I do a dual output like that? I can capture super high quality, high refresh rate gaming footage from the Streamer X, but the fact that I have that HDMI plugged into my PC means I just set the output of my PC's audio to the HDMI, which means it's getting sent directly to my Streamer X as well. That means that I can monitor literally all my audio through this one little piece of gear, and it sounds incredible. And the headphone jack has enough power to power these really high quality headphones. And I will say, the DT770s are impressive for gaming. They have more of a 3D audio space than most gaming headsets, so you can actually hear where footsteps are, and I think it leveled me up. No way! Can you res, hurry? Yes, dude, you're a beast. No! Oh, well. Guess we'll get them next time. We're not done there yet. There's a few more amazing things on my desk that I'm super excited about. Let's talk about this camera, because I have been doing some gaming live streams and some gaming videos. Go check out my second channel. The camera I use to film all these shenanigans is the Sony FX30. This camera is not just a cinema camera. It's a great photography camera, and it's an amazing live stream camera, because you don't need a capture card with this camera. You just take a USB-C cable. I use Gen 3.2 just to be safe. Plug that into a fast USB-C port. This camera just turns into its own webcam. You can run this camera for hours and hours and hours, and it will never overheat. Powering this FX30 is a dummy battery. Got a super cheap one on Amazon. Just keeps this camera running forever. You don't want to worry about swapping batteries, especially for streaming. But for lighting, I like to use this little guy up here. This is the Zhun Molus 100. Now, the cool thing about this is it's mounted on this Rode podcast mic arm. So I have two of those podcast arms. One is holding my microphone, obviously, but the other one's holding up the light, which means I can adjust it, get any angle that I want, and it looks kind of clean, and it sits up high, so it's not in my way. It's not in the shot of the camera, and I just like having that adjustability, and I had an extra one laying around, so figured I'd use it. Another fun piece of gear on my desk, which is actually next to the Streamer X, is my Loupedeck. This little guy is really cool for video editing and gaming for me. So on the editing side, I have one page that's just set up with all of my complex hotkeys. So instead of pushing like 400 buttons on my keyboard and mangling myself, I can just push one button on this Loupedeck and it will automatically generate subtitles for my entire video. And on my other page, it's set up for gaming. So I can open Discord, Rode Unify, Spotify. I can start and stop music with this knob, and I can switch through various different OBS scenes. So if you have multiple scenes, you can just use these little buttons to trigger them, and it's really smooth, just one button. You don't have to go to your mouse and select the scene in OBS. You can make this whatever you want. You can customize all these different things and make it work for your workflow, but I just like to keep it simple with editing and gaming live streams. But a desk is nothing if you can't sit at it. I mean, I guess you could stand at it, which I do sometimes, but I also like to sit. So let's talk about my new chair. Would you stop? Would you? Now I got it. This one is up and down. You wanna show your thighs off at work? All I want to do is play video games with the boys in my new Ergo chair. Time to hop. Overall, this chair is really cool. It even has a little footrest if you want to kick back and relax, hold your baby, maybe give him a little bottle, you know, dad stuff. Make sure to check out the Flexispot links in the description and use my code for a discount on your own Ergo chair. Huge shout out to them for making this dream desk build a reality. So make sure you like this channel and subscribe to this video. Comment below what you want to do with your future dream desk setup. Make sure you watch out for deer because they are literally all around us and I will fight them. And text me when you get home so I know you're safe because I love you and care about you. So, all right, have a good one. We'll see you in the next video.